Hello, it's me again. I'm going to, instead of having a more appropriate or private conversation, I'm going to have a public one. Hello, everyone. It's a thing to do. Well, for my inappropriate conversation that we're going to have today, I'm going to talk about Nicholas Medina again. And I'm going to talk about, what's the other guy? Michael Smith. He also talked about some of this stuff too. Brainwave entrainment technology, insertion operations, all that's vague, almost seems like conspiracy theory stuff. I find these conversations really annoying for me, although I think it's probably very important. It's probably a very important topic for national security, etc. But despite me having, in theory, a national security adjacent degree, a master's degree in East Asian Studies from the Ohio State University, I really have no idea about psychiatry, neurology. I know some basic behavioral psychology. That's about it. From a class that was well before I took anything in East Asian Studies per se. And there's people talk to me about insertion operations, and we can take over and use an EEG machine and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay. Anyways, Nicholas Medina implied a lot of stuff along these lines. Certainly so did Michael Smith. Actually seemed a little bit more explicit, although I don't know if any of the information was very accurate. But basically, in theory, to insert someone into a situation or to replace someone with an inserted agent, that person would have to be captured, interrogated, I guess in theory using some kind of EEG machine. It's a standard portable EEG machine. I'll post a link in the video here. I'll see if I can get a picture on screen here if possible. And an EEG machine, I guess a high quality research grade portable EEG machine. So I guess, I don't know, you put a Colt 45 against the guy's head and scream at him. Well, he has an EEG machine attached. That's kind of the story. It might be a little bit more sophisticated than that. That's the basic story. So once you have the data on the EEG recording, I guess you can just kill the guy and dispose of him. That's the story. That's the story. I don't know how accurate this is. It sounds stupid, actually. It sounds absolutely fucking retarded to me. I have a master's degree in East Asian Studies. No intelligence agency has ever hired me. So, I have no idea. I have no idea about these stories. But, people talk to me about this shit. Anyways, this is the story Nicholas Medina talks about at length. So once you've got the data copied over, I guess supposedly there's some way a trained professional agent or a recruit, some guy who's ready to, just write about the same race, body type, physical features, maybe some eye surgery, I don't know. That guy supposedly would, I guess, somehow wear some electromagnetic headphones or something, or some kind of more up-to-date, sophisticated device, and somehow onboard the personality data recorded from the EEG enhanced interrogation. And then suppose that guy can just kind of, start gelling with, maybe having an incident where he has to go to the hospital and get some time to kind of gel with his surroundings. And then when he kindly gets out of the hospital, he's able to walk again. Maybe recovers from a stroke or something, I don't know, some kind of strategy like this. He then is able to just kind of, vibe with what this guy, gestures, etc. That's the story. And, I have no way of evaluating this. I have no idea what a brainwave entrainment device that would be useful for this level of neurosurgery would look like. Not a neurosurgeon, not a neurologist, not a psychiatrist. And I think it's like psychology is a little bit too distant from, a little bit not quite as, I don't think psychology quite deals with this stuff that much in depth. So, that's the kind of stuff Nicholas Medina does told me enough about back in 2023 to make me really nervous. I have no way of evaluating it. I don't have a security clearance. Don't have any background in any of this. Never served in the military. and certainly not in this kind of area. Never served in any agency besides the Niigata City Board of Education. So, this is this basic story. This is how this goes. This is the story. Does the story even make sense? I don't know. I mean, psychiatrist or a neurologist, neurosurgeon would probably know a lot more. I know very little of that. For me, national security is about military strategy, and language training doesn't involve EEG recordings at all. Every piece of the Japanese language I've learned, I was sitting in front of a computer, mainly in Columbus, Ohio, grinding for 4 hours a night. Grinding language training for 4 hours a night, and I kind of think that might be better in many cases. It really depends on what the purpose is. I don't know. I don't know if this is even a good method, what's been described to me about for supposed insertion operations, advanced neurological language training. Don't know if that's a remotely good idea. I know what works for me, for basic knowledge of Japanese. I mean, it takes hours. It was 2 years, daily language classes, solid grinding, about 4 hours a night. Sit down with your glass of beer, just recite Japanese conversations until it's baked into your brain. Until it's an extension of your own native personality. If you have a native personality, or maybe it'll be your first personality in your life. Maybe you'll build a personality. Personality builder. Japanese, the personality language, by Professor Eleanor Jordan. So, anyways, do with what the conspiracy theory nonsense or practical fact that I've learned has been. Maybe if you're a neurologist or psychiatrist, you can piece some of this together. Maybe it'll help you figure out why someone's physical body changed, but their personality seems the same. Maybe it's useful for understanding those situations if to the extent they seem to happen. I think there's probably a little bit more going on than just what's been described to me. I mean, there's limits to what's been described to me. I have no way of filling in these gaps. Anyways, yeah. I mean, it certainly would explain some of this stuff, but I have no idea who some of these individuals were before. Like, what were they like? You see all these people with the weird, screwed up eyes. That could just be vanity surgery. A lot of people get bad vanity surgery, probably. So I've had a conversation in Ohio State by a guy who's certainly seemed to be a High-Zoot professor, and he was talking about plastic surgery. And who's your plastic surgeon? You never get plastic surgery. It's like, are you interested in talking about this? You're supposed to career academics. Who cares about the fucking plastic surgery thing? Hey, we're gonna look like old academics someday if you're gonna become an academic. I don't know. Certainly I'd say if anyone is conducting murder or insertion operations against American citizens on American soil, probably need to prosecute them. If they've done it 3 or more times, well, we should probably have gotten some laws in place to deal with people who murder 3 or more people. Let's look at, you can study some Chinese history, Chinese legal history, and get some ideas on what to do with people who kill 3 or more people, particularly from the same family. But anyways, that's just how it is. Kind of some ramblings here, aren't there? I mean, honestly, talk about insertion operations. Okay, that's not something they talk about in a lot of East Asian studies classes. Even though area studies is supposedly a heavily CIA-influenced field, we have not addressed that in typical class conversations. I have not addressed that with any of my professors. Like, what about neurology and neuroscience? No one talks about that. No one gives a shit. That's not how area studies has been typically ever been conducted. And honestly, a lot of this insertion operations are almost irrelevant to the work, as far as I can tell, of a case officer or certainly an intelligence analyst. I mean, they shouldn't. I mean, I don't say that's irrelevant, but I mean, they would not want to be conducting them themselves because that's not how the job works. But I've not ever been in that position. Well, I hope you enjoyed this very weird video about a very weird topic of insertion operations, neurosurgery, facial surgery. You know, nothing in here is classified as far as I know, but I would never know. I wouldn't have any way of knowing because I don't have a security clearance. As I've told you before, I don't know about that. I just know enough. I've just had enough conversations with people like Nicholas Medina to be a little bit worried. I always considered Nicholas Medina really nothing more than a criminal. He may be more of a community activist. He may have been trying to help me or assist me in some way. I have no way of dealing with that. I have a master's degree in East Asian Studies, not psychiatry. I have no intelligence training. Thank you. Have a great rest of the night, and good morning if you're over on the other side of the world. Thanks. Have a great day.